Now, a few people have asked, how do we plant up a hanging basket like this with bulbs? So I will try and slip in a link at the end of the video to a previous video that we did a couple of years ago, which showed you how we go through the process of getting these bulbs to produce this lovely ball of flowers here. So watch out at the end of the video for that. Good morning, good morning, the whole night through. Good morning to you. So, wanted to show you what we've been doing with our daffodils and other bulbs in our garden. We've just come through an amazing kind of very, very stormy February here in South Wales. We've had wind and rain and hail and snow, thunder, lightning, no heat wave. But it didn't feel like spring was springing, but as you can see, our Tete miniature daffodil basket has come out into flower, and there's still more buds to come. And we've got quite a few other bulbs in pots, and I put a little post on Facebook using some photographs the other day, and it had a huge response. So I thought we'd just kind of show you a bit more of how we grow bulbs in pots, because our garden is pretty full. There isn't much space in the borders for any more bulbs, so we have decided over the last few years to grow bulbs in pots. You may recognise these pots here. Those of you that have seen any of our videos here, these are the pots that we grow our lilies in the summer, and the lilies are still there. There's kind of last year's shoots that we pruned back in the autumn, and we have these crocus that come up in the spring. I can just see some lily shoots just starting there. So as the crocus die back, the lilies come up, and I might just slip a photograph in here of how those lilies look in the summer. And then what we do, each year we plant up, I don't know, about 20 pots full of bulbs, and leave them round the corner here, out of sight really, because let's face it, when you first plant them up, you don't see much there's nothing much to look at in a pot of bulbs when you first plant them. They generally look like that or like that, but if you look closely, you can just see some shoots coming up on those bulbs there. That's a little dwarf tulip, I think, there. And so we plant up our various bulbs, and as you can see now in the spring, as they start to come into flower, we move them round to the front of the house, by the kitchen window and so on, so that when we're inside on a cold February day like we've had every day this year in February, we can look out and feel a little bit kind of uplifted. And of course we've got whoa, look at that hanging basket, fantastic. So we've got a few more around here as well, just coming into flower. There's one there. That's our little Venus flytrap there. Those of you who think Venus flytraps are just indoor plants, it's died back for the winter, which is what they need to do, and it'll come back no problem in a month or two. Another daffodil there. It's a nice one with an orange centre. I wonder if he's got a perfume. Let's have a quick sniff. A light perfume, I would say. Okay, so that's the crocus in the lily pots. There's the bulbs that are still to come, some almost in flower there. There's the lovely hanging basket, and then just round the corner here, ta-da! There you go. So here's that's Tete there. One of our favourite bulbs. And what we tend to do, and you can see, so we kind of layer plant them, so you can see some of the bulbs that are planted at the top of the pot, near the surface, have come into flower first, and then we would done a second layer of bulbs just underneath, where you can see they're still coming. There's a bud there, there's buds here, so that we get a nice long show of flowers from these bulbs. So there's Tete. That's a double Tete. I only sort of started seeing those in the last couple of years. That's a beauty. I think that could be, whoops, that could be a winner in the future. That is my wife's favourite or one of her favourite miniature daffodils. That's oh, what's it called? Jetfire. There we go, Jetfire. It's got that slightly orangey centre to the flower there. Lovely. And then we've got some more taller daffs here, and we've even got some Tete-a-Tete. Now those have been in that basket for a number of years, probably about 4 or 5 years, something like that. So a few people have asked, how do we make sure that our flowers, our daffodils, keep on flowering? A couple of things really. To be honest, when I've crammed so many of like this into a pot, I would seriously consider planting them out into the ground. When our garden is full, what we tend to do is plant them out into the roadsides not far from where we live. So as we're driving around the estate, we see these bulbs coming up. We've got a little roundabout actually. I might just quickly take you up there afterwards and show you how the roundabout is shaping up. So our kind of spare pots of bulbs, we often plant out in the ground so that they can, you know, get more root room and just kind of flourish for years to come. These guys can last for decades. So plenty of root room. Obviously during the spring and the early summer, when it starts to warm up, they'll need lots of water, and we add plenty of fertilizer. So high potash fertilizer, you remember from some of my other videos, high potash fertilizer will encourage flowers. So water when they dry out, feed, and the other thing is, don't cut off the leaves. There is a temptation when they've finished flowering to cut the leaves back. We don't do that, because these leaves will be catching the sunlight and storing the energy back down into the bulb to help the bulb to flower in years to come. You can cut off the flowers, the dead flowers. Some people recommend that. To be honest, I don't bother, but some people recommend you can cut off the dead flowers to stop them setting seed and taking away any goodness from the bulb. But for me, the most important thing is leave those leaves, leave the leaves, don't cut them back, don't tie them up, just leave them to catch the sunlight and store the energy. And normally here in Wales, by about the middle of June, the leaves will have turned yellow. Then you can pull the leaves off and allow the bulbs to remain dormant. So water in the spring, high potash fertilizer in the spring, and don't cut back the leaves. Those are the 3 keys to kind of success, to have it, you know, to make sure that these guys keep on flowering for years to come. And don't they look gorgeous? I'm going to quickly nip you up over to the roundabout to show you how our little bit of community planting has taken shape.